I have grown lavender in this garden for more than 20 years. The first plant I put in was an English lavender, deep purple spikes, fragrant enough that I could smell it from the kitchen window on a hot July afternoon. It was beautiful those first 3 summers, and I never touched it. Cutting it felt exactly like what it was, cutting back something that was working perfectly well, so I left it alone. By the 5th year, something had changed, and I could not figure out where the problem came from. The bottom of the plant had turned to bare brown stems, stiff and hard, like little knuckles at the base. The whole plant had gone open and leggy, with a gap forming in the center where it used to be solid and round. It was still blooming out at the tips of those long bare arms, but it looked nothing like the full rounded cushion it had been in year 2. I had heard somewhere that this is just what lavender does as it ages. It is not. It is what lavender does when it is never managed correctly. The same summer, my neighbor Carol had a lavender of her own, planted that spring. Beautiful plant, full and green, and just settling in. Then a few weeks later, I walked past her garden and found it cut flat to the ground, bare brown sticks coming up from the soil where a healthy plant had been. She had taken the shears to it the way she cuts back her butterfly bush in the fall, hard down to the base, the way you would cut almost any other shrub. By August, her plant was dead. Not dormant, not resting, dead. Dead. There are 2 ways to kill a lavender. Never cut it, and it slowly turns to bare knuckles and leggy stems. Growers call it the chicken leg look, and a lavender managed that way is finished by about year 6. Cut it wrong, the way you would cut almost anything else in your garden, and you kill it outright in a single afternoon. Both ends are the same outcome, a lavender that is no longer there. Today we are going through exactly what your lavender needs in July. What to cut, where to cut it, when your deadline is, the 5-word rule that saves your plant from both of those ends, and what to do if yours has already gone woody. I saved something for the end of this video. The July morning I first understood that the harvest and the pruning are the same job done in the same pass, and that one thing changed the way I think about this plant entirely. If you are new here, welcome to the Gardening Grandma. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a video. I post every single week with honest, practical gardening advice. No products to sell you, no fluff, just real knowledge from someone who made every one of these mistakes herself. Now, let us get into your lavender. Step 1. Understand what lavender actually is, because it is not what most gardeners think, and once you see it, the whole job becomes obvious. A lavender is not a perennial, not really, and it is not a proper shrub either. It is what botanists call a subshrub or semi-shrub, which means it is 2 different plants stacked on top of each other. The top half is soft, green, herbaceous growth, new leaves, new shoots, this year's flowers. That part behaves like a perennial. It is alive and flexible, and it grows. The bottom half is wood, bare, brown, hard, and it gets a little taller every single year, because that is what happens to lavender stems as they age. They lignify. They turn from green living tissue into timber, from the bottom up a little more each year. Here is the fact that decides everything in this video. That brown wood at the base is dead ground. Lavender will not reliably produce new growth from a bare, leafless, woody stem. Cut into it and nothing comes back. Not next month, not next spring, not ever. You are left with a bare stick where a branch used to be. Every other shrub in your garden forgives you for cutting into old wood. Cut a rose or a butterfly bush or a hydrangea back hard into bare wood, and it shrugs and pushes new shoots. Lavender does not. Lavender is the exception. It will not resprout from bare brown wood. The instinct that works everywhere else in your garden, cut it hard and it will bounce back, is the exact instinct that ends a lavender in a single afternoon. Step 2. The 5-word rule that keeps you safe. Cut into the green, never the brown. That is it. That is the whole job. Find where the soft green growth ends and the hard brown wood begins, and make sure every cut you make stays above that line. Every stem you touch should still have green on it when you are done. Every cut goes into living tissue, never wood. That is the rule. Everything else in today's video is detail that hangs off it. Step 3. Know your timing and know your deadline. The trigger for pruning lavender is not a date on the calendar. It is an event. You prune lavender right after its main flush of flowers fades. When the color goes and the spikes look tired and dusty, the window is open. The type of lavender you have matters here because the different types run on different clocks. English lavender, the classic Lavandula angustifolia with the narrow gray-green leaves and the tall purple spikes, throws its main flush in late June and early July. For most of you right now is exactly the window. The big lavandins, the grosso and the Provence and the phenomenal, bloom later and longer, right through July and into September, so your moment comes later when that long bloom finally fades. And Spanish lavender, with the little rabbit ear bracts at the top of each spike, flowers in late spring, so if yours is Spanish lavender, that window has already passed. If you are not certain which type you have, watch the plant rather than the calendar. When the color goes and the spikes look tired, that is your signal. Here is why the timing window closes and why this matters. When you cut lavender, you are not just tidying it, you are triggering it. The plant responds by pushing out a flush of fresh, new, soft green growth. And that new growth needs weeks of decent weather to mature and toughen before the cold arrives. Cut too late in the season, and you send a plant covered in brand new tender shoots straight into frost. The cold burns them off and leaves the whole plant weakened going into winter. Calculate your deadline this way. Look up your average first frost date and count back 6 weeks. That is your last day to prune. Do not go later than that. In colder regions, cut immediately after flowering and no later than midsummer. And here is the honest exception. If you garden in a zone with short summers and early frosts, zones 4 and 5, or anywhere the first frost can arrive in September, do not do a full prune right now, deadhead only. Remove the spent flower stems without cutting back into the body of the plant. Save the real annual trim for late winter or early spring. Forcing new growth you cannot ripen before the frost arrives is worse than waiting. Step 4. The actual technique. And this is the part that matters most. First, when in the day. Cut in the early morning, after the dew has dried but before the sun gets hard and hot. That is not fussiness. Lavender's essential oils are most concentrated in the cool of the morning. Heat and direct sun evaporate them quickly. Cut at noon in a July heat wave, and you have thrown away a good portion of the fragrance you spent the whole summer growing. Second, what stage to cut at. If you want that lavender for anything, for drying, for sachets, for cooking, for anything at all, cut when about 1/3 to 1/2 of the individual buds on each spike have opened, not when it is in full glorious bloom. Full bloom is already past peak. You want most of the buds still tight and closed with just the first ones showing color, because that is when the oil content is at its highest. Wait for the full open show, and the fragrance has already begun to fade. Third, the technique itself. Take a handful of stems in one hand, working a bunch at a time rather than one stem at a time. Follow those stems down from the flower spikes, through the flowers, and into the leafy green growth below until you find a leaf node, one of those small junctions where a pair of leaves or side shoots attaches to the stem. Cut just above that node at a slight angle so water sheds off the cut face, rather than sitting on it. The reason you cut above a leaf node specifically is that the side shoots below your cut will grow out into new stems of their own. Healthy, established English lavender cut correctly at the right moment will very often push a second flush of flowers 6 to 8 weeks after the first. You did not just harvest it, you asked it for more. On the amounts, take about 1/3 of the plant off overall. On the big lavandins with their long stems, you can take up to half, because they carry more stem to work with. In either case, aim to cut roughly 2 inches above where the green ends and the brown wood begins, 2 inches of green above the wood. As you work, think about the shape you are creating. You are not cutting a flat top. You are working toward a rounded, compact dome, a cushion, a mound. That is the shape that stays dense over years, keeps the center from splitting open, and sheds rain and snow without holding moisture against the crown. When you are done, look at the whole plant. It should still be a green mound. If you can see bare brown sticks poking out of the top of your work, you went too far, and those sticks will not come back. A plant that still looks fully green when you step back is a plant that was cut correctly. Use sharp bypass pruners, the kind whose blades pass each other like scissors, not the crushing anvil type. A clean cut heals cleanly, a crushed stem does not. And wipe the blades with rubbing alcohol between plants, because a dirty blade carries disease straight from one fresh cut to the next. Before step 5, I want to hear from you right now. Drop your state or your growing zone in the comments and tell me what type of lavender you have, English, Spanish, French, or one of the big lavendins like Grosso or Phenomenal, and what it looks like at this exact moment. Because the timing in this video looks different depending on your type and your region, and your answers help me understand who I am actually talking to. I read every single one. Now step 5, the part 1 want you to remember most. The most satisfying thing I have learned about lavender in 20 years is that there is no such thing as pruning lavender and harvesting lavender as two separate chores. They are the same cut. When you take that handful of stems, follow it down to the leaf node, and cut at a slight angle, you are doing both things at once. The bundles in your hand when you step back are not debris, they are lavender. Tie them in small, loose bundles and hang them upside down in a cool, dry spot out of direct sun. In 2 to 3 weeks, you have dried lavender, for sachets, for the kitchen, for gift bundles, for whatever you want from it. You did not do maintenance. You collected the crop and shaped the plant in one pass, and when you are done, leave a few spikes standing at the edges, not for the plant, for the bees. Lavender is one of the best nectar sources in the July garden, and they are working it constantly right now. Take your harvest and leave them their share. Step 6. What to do if your lavender is already woody. If you are looking at bare knuckles at the base and long leggy stems that bloom only at the tips, I want to give you the honest answer on what is possible and what is not. First, run the test that tells you what you are working with. Get down close and look carefully at the woody stems. You are not looking for green leaves at the top. You are looking for tiny green shoots pushing directly out of the old brown wood itself, small new growth points emerging from the woody tissue. If you find those, there is life in that stem, and you have something to work with. If a woody stem is completely bare and brown, with no new growth anywhere on it, that stem is dead ground. Nothing brings it back. Here is the rescue method that actually works. You do not fix a woody lavender in one afternoon. You fix it over 2 or 3 years. Work 1 or 2 branches at a time, taking each one back by a third or a half, never into bare brown wood, always leaving green on every branch you touch. Then do it again the following year and the year after. The plant slowly rebuilds itself into a mound rather than a sprawl. It is gradual, but it is the method that works. What you must not do is what always looks decisive. Do not look at the whole woody mess, decide to be bold, and cut the entire thing back hard to renovate it. That is not a renovation, that is an execution. Lavender cut hard into all bare wood does not come back from it. Here is the honest verdict, and I would rather tell you the truth than give you false hope. If your lavender is heavily woody, mostly bare at the base, split open in the middle, gradual pruning will extend it a few more years, but it will not give you back the full plant you had. At a certain point, the right answer is to take cuttings from whatever healthy green growth remains, root them, and start again with young plants. Even a lavender managed perfectly has a lifespan. English lavender and lavendin pruned correctly give you 15 to 20 years. French and Spanish give you more like 5 to 7. This is not a plant you inherit and keep forever. It is a plant you keep renewing. And pruning is how you stretch each one as far as it goes. Step 7. 3 things to stop doing right now, because these are what put a lavender in trouble in the first place. Do not fertilize it. I know a plant that just got cut back looks like it could use a boost. That instinct is wrong here in a specific way. Lavender is a plant of poor, lean soil. It evolved on dry, rocky hillsides in the Mediterranean, where the soil has very little to offer. Feed it, especially anything high in nitrogen, and you get exactly what nitrogen always produces: lush, soft, leafy green growth at the direct expense of flowers, on a plant that goes floppy and sprawls. In July, let it be. If your soil is genuinely poor, a light, low nitrogen feed in late spring is the whole annual program, and even that is optional. After the first year in the ground, stop fertilizing altogether. Do not water it. Established lavender in the ground is a drought plant. It evolved on dry, rocky, sun-baked hillsides, and it is built exactly for that. What kills lavender more reliably than any pest or any cold is wet feet. Soggy soil rots the roots, and the plant is gone. The real secret to lavender is not something you add. It is drainage. Gritty, sharply draining soil that dries out between rainfalls. If you can plant it on a slope or a slight mound, even better. Do not mulch against the crown. A thick, moist mulch packed against the woody base holds water exactly where the plant cannot tolerate it. If you mulch at all around lavender, use gravel or coarse grit, not bark chips, and keep it pulled back from the stems. 2 variety warnings before we finish, because these will catch someone. French lavender, the Lavandula dentata, with the soft-toothed leaves and the little tufted bracts at the top of each spike, is not a tough plant. A vigorous prune can kill it outright. Go light with French lavender, deadhead and gentle shaping, nothing more aggressive. And phenomenal, the big popular lavandin that has become one of the most widely planted lavenders in American gardens, has very long flowering stems that cannot be cut back to leafless wood at all. On phenomenal, cut down only to the mound of foliage sitting below the spent flower stems, and stop right there. So there you have them, my dear. 7 things your lavender needs from you this July. Know what it is: a subshrub with a green top and a woody bottom, because that biology is the reason the whole job works the way it does. Follow the 5-word rule. Cut into the green, never the brown. Know your timing. Watch for the trigger after the main flush fades. Calculate your deadline at 6 weeks before first frost. And if you garden in zones 4 or 5, deadhead only, and save the real trim for late winter. Use the correct technique. Early morning, 1/3 to 1/2 of buds open. Cut just above a leaf node at a slight angle. Take about 1/3 off. Shape it into a rounded mound. Remember that the harvest and the pruning are the same cut, and leave a few spikes standing for the bees. If yours is already woody, do the gradual rescue over 2 to 3 seasons, and never cut everything hard back at once. And stop fertilizing, stop overwatering, and keep mulch away from the crown. Now I want to hear from you. What state or zone are you gardening in? What type of lavender do you have? And what is it doing right now? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this video helped you, share it with one person you know whose lavender has gone all bare knuckles and leggy, or one who is about to cut theirs back the way they cut their roses. If you are not subscribed yet, now is the time. I post every single week, and I do not waste your time. Until then, happy gardening. Take care of yourselves, and take care of those beautiful gardens of yours.